Here on the night team, we are now hours away from the most important first day of school for JCPS in nearly 50 years. Call it the rebound or the redo year. After the massive transportation disaster from last year, they must get it right. Will students get to class on time? And will the ride home beat the unacceptable 10 o'clock drop-off of an elementary student late last year? We are learning tonight how parents are scrambling after transportation cuts. And hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on the WHAS11 night team. I'm Doug Proffitt. With fewer buses on the road in the morning, it means the carpool is going to be huge. WHAS11 night team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie found that many are getting creative to find ways to get their kids to and from school.
Most JCPS families are soaking up the last day of summer break with a cool splash before the first day of school.
I'm a little nervous, but I think it'll work out.
Kathy French is a JCPS parent of 3 elementary students. She's juggling how she will carpool them to 2 different schools.
One starts at 7:30, 2 start at 8:40. So I'm going to drop the earliest one off as soon as I can and then rush to get a friend's child.
This year, JCPS will have 3 different start times. Families who have students who are bus riders are strongly advised to check the bus teller portal the morning of school for the most updated information.
We're also asking for patience. We know that as we bring more than 90,000 students back to school throughout the city, that there are going to be delays in the morning.
So far, the district has 560 bus drivers for its 510 routes. The commute to school on the first day may be a bit longer since there will be more cars on the road after some families lost transportation.
There's new traffic patterns. We hired a traffic coordinator.
And you can already see where there is fresh yellow paint to direct car riders through the lines.
Any prep they do to try to smooth it out is welcome. We'll see how well it all works in practice.
Morris Larry has an elementary student who will be attending a magnet school. He will also be driving his son to school like he did last year.
I'm expecting that to be a little bit of a thing for a while until it smooths out. But, it's just part of the process.
Overall, Larry looks forward to the first day of school,
I'd have some peace and quiet in the house for a while.
hoping the start of this school year will be smoother than last year. In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 night team on your side.
Now, don't forget, you should call that special hotline. It's easy to remember, 485-RIDE, if you have any issues. JCPS tells us that Monday and Tuesday, they had 1,000 calls from people. Today, that number soared to 1,400. Also, use the bus teller portal for transportation information, and you can download the EDU log parent portal to track your student's school bus. Developing late today, a group of families suing the school district and JCPS itself have requested to put a hold on the cases in federal court. In a joint motion filed today, attorneys are asking for a 60-day stay in the proceedings to allow time for the new transportation plan to be put into place. The families sued the district over the transportation plan, which eliminates school buses for most magnet and traditional schools. They argue the new plan is discriminatory. During an August 2nd federal hearing, there was testimony that certain schools, specifically Mayle, Manual High School, and Whitney Young Elementary, may have routes restored if there's enough drivers. Now, JCPS sent us a statement about all this today saying, quote, the district agreed to the stay, but made no commitment whatsoever about student assignment or guaranteeing any student a resumption of transportation. The lawsuit, they say, is unnecessary. The judge in the case still has to sign off on this motion. And coming up, from the first pickup of a student in the morning right to the last drop-off tomorrow, WHAS 11 News has you covered on the first day of school all day long in all of our newscasts. Good Morning Kentuckiana begins at 4:30 in the morning. Going to be a good back to school day when it comes to the weather. That's always important. It's going to feel like August tomorrow, Ben, and then we get the nice big changes on the way.
You got it. It's going to be hot out there. We'll enjoy the AC again for tomorrow. Doug, out the door to the bus stop tomorrow morning. We'll have temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s, so feeling pretty good as we get started. And then some heat for that bus ride home with a high up to 91 degrees, which is pretty close to normal for this time of the year. Still warm out there, 80 degrees at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. airport, 83 the heat index, and all dry conditions and a partly cloudy sky out there for tonight. And you can see here a futurecast. We'll have a dry start tomorrow morning, so an easy commute, it looks like, weather-wise, and the highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Now, after tomorrow, a nice change on the way as you're hinting at a fantastic fall-like weekend forecast coming up.
Ben, thank you. All new right now on the WHAS 1119. More local news. A Southern Indiana daycare provider is now facing another child abuse case. Police actually charged her as she is currently sitting in jail. Brittany Baylor of Jeffersonville is waiting to be tried on murder charges after an infant died in her care 2 years ago. WHAS 11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Aspen Hester have the latest on this investigation.
It's just a tragic situation. Two different infants with the same person.
Child care provider Brittany Baylor of Jeffersonville is charged in another child abuse incident.
And they're two totally separate investigations, both very serious felony charges in each case.
Indiana State Police served 2 felony charges to 35-year-old Baylor after a 2-month-old in her care was found to have a broken leg in February of this year. Count 1, battery resulting in serious bodily injury, and count 2, neglect of a dependent resulting in serious bodily injury. Baylor was charged on Tuesday while already in the Clark County Jail. She was arrested in June after police say an infant died in her care due to a head injury in 2022.
We're happy to fall through that investigation and have these charges and let the process continue for justice.
According to an affidavit obtained by WHAS 11, Haley Key picked her niece up from Baylor's in-home daycare in Clark County. Haley went to change her diaper and noticed that her leg was sensitive. The infant's mother then took her to Norton Children's Hospital in Louisville, where doctors determined her right leg was broken. During the investigation, Baylor said she didn't notice any injuries while the infant was under her care, and there was no crying out of the ordinary. The affidavit says the infant's injury is, quote, diagnostic of inflicted child physical abuse. Baylor is an unlicensed child care provider. Sergeant Hull says that in this instance, the child care work was unregulated, but perfectly legal.
I'm sure there's plenty of very safe ones all across the state.
But he says parents should thoroughly vet their child care providers and report any suspicions to the Department of Child Services.
It is important that a parent do their due diligence and make sure they understand who it is that's watching their child.
Baylor is set for an initial appearance in court on Monday. In Jeffersonville, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Both investigations are being handled separately. And by the way, if you ever suspect abuse, you are encouraged to call the Indiana Department of Child Services hotline, and we did want to put that number on the screen for you tonight. That number is 1-800-800-5556. A family has been awarded more than $100,000 in a new settlement with LMPD. The Stucker family sued the police department, claiming police officers handcuffed the wrong people, including a 10-year-old child. It all happened 5 years ago in 2019 at a house where Roy Stucker was working as a painter. According to the suit, Stucker was hired to paint a house between tenants. And while he was there with his girlfriend and her 10-year-old daughter, officers raided the home. They broke through windows and went in with weapons drawn. They handcuffed all 3 of them outside. It turns out LMPD was serving an arrest warrant on somebody else. According to the Stuckers' attorney, the real target had already been arrested and was in LMPD custody when this raid happened. The case was dismissed in U.S. District Court on Monday after both parties reached an agreement. The Stuckers were awarded $180,000. Looking ahead, tomorrow, Metro Police are going to be releasing the body camera video from the fatal shooting in Valley Station late last month. Police responded on July 27th to a 911 call on Eaglewood Drive just off Dixie Highway. When officers got there, they say a man was agitated and inside a home with several other family members. According to police, the family was able to escape, with police attempting to calm the man down. However, police say he picked up a knife and charged at officers, leading shots to be fired. Tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon, the LMPD Public Integrity Unit plans to release the body camera footage from this incident. LMPD says they also plan to announce new procedures about the release of body camera video from officer-involved critical incidents. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources has told the city of New Albany that they must stop emergency work that's been underway on the Silver Creek Dam. Last week, New Albany Mayor Jeff Gahan ordered emergency maintenance after a teenage boy drowned there in May. The city ordered a crew to place the large rocks along the dam after voting on 2 resolutions to make it safer. However, Indiana's Department of Natural Resources says it's against the law for the construction to be done without a permit. And the community says they want the mayor's changes.
I think he almost had no choice rather than to continue waiting like you know, the bureaucracy that goes through all of this just takes too long for action. And he did what he had to do.
In a statement, the Department of Natural Resources in Indiana said in part this law is in place to protect both people and property that are in the path of these waterways. Unauthorized work, including placing fill, rock in the floodway, can lead to upstream flooding and create additional public safety issues if not properly constructed. More now on a story you saw first here on the WHAS 1119 last night. The search in the Bahamas for a missing Louisville pilot didn't happen today as planned due to bad weather. We told you last night that Chris Moore took off from the Sebastian Airport on Florida's East Coast for the 3-hour flight to a home that he owns over in the Bahamas. The 59-year-old Moore lives near Glenview on River Road in Louisville. His wife tells us his small plane was last known to be 5 miles from the small Marsh Harbor Airport where he was going to land. This is the plane he was flying. Both the U.S. Coast Guard and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force stopped searching yesterday. Moore's wife has hired private rescue crews and has also appealed to Mitch McConnell's office for help from more government search crews.